10,
9,
8,
7,
6,
5,
4,
3,
2, 1.
Hey, Skywalkers! We are going to record our classic Marvel Star Wars comics. Thank you, Meredith, for joining us. We're just getting one costume piece. Are you sure I didn't repurpose it?
I don't know anymore.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I saw it not too long ago.
Okay, you know what? Let me look because I know where it is. You talk with the Skywalkers. Hi, Skywalkers. We're trying to get some show and tell pieces for our recording today for classic Star Wars Marvel comics. So come here, Richard, because there's two places I know where to look. Well, no, you can't because we're live. So someone has to come here. What are you guys doing right now? Let us know in the comments. If you're on the East Coast, it's like 6:30 already. My goodness. Oh, you did find them. Okay. All right. Well, we have to put those on later,
Yes.
right? Okay. Our show and tell pieces are ready.
Sometimes the stuff doesn't come to you until the last minute.
Yeah, it's true. But that's all right. We haven't started yet. All right. Oh, wow, that was loud. Loud. Richard, speak.
Test.
All right.
Test.
Oh,
Test. What? Uh-oh.
no, I can't tell sometimes if I'm moving around, or it's crackling. Oh, you're still working. Okay. All right. So right now, it sounds good.
Okay.
All right. So then I'm going to hit record over here. And it is recording. Speak.
Test.
You sound great. Do your claps.
Oh.
Okay. This seems a little off. Here we go. Is that too much of the microphone that we're seeing, or is this okay?
That's fine.
Yeah.
That is fine. That is fine.
That is fine. Okay. All right. You guys get to see all the fun behind the scenes stuff that we're working with over here. All right. I'm going to make this a little bigger. And here we go. And this is queued up for
good.
the sharing. Okay.
Good.
Oh, you just clapped, right?
Yes.
Okay. So here we go. This is what you can look forward to on episode 495 of Skywalking Through Neverland.
Hey, Skywalkers! By now, of course, the phone goes off right at that one time.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Okay, go. Okay. Hey, Skywalkers! By now, you should know the names Crimson Jack and Jackson. But if you're not familiar with the names Pliff the Hoojib, Amaza Foxtrain, and Valance the Hunter, don't worry, we got you covered. But until then, we want to welcome you back to Skywalking Through Neverland. I am Richard Woloski, but now everyone please say hello to my sweetie wife, Sarah, the 7-foot green bunny.
What? I'm not a 7-foot green bunny. I'm only 5'2".
Right now,
but later on, maybe.
Give it a minute.
Maybe.
You know what? What if I covered up the camera?
Oh, okay.
Okay. Everyone close your eyes and I cover up the camera just in case anyone's cheating and wants to peek. We're going to cover this up and and there you are. My sweetie wife, Jackson, the green furred bunny.
Yes. Aww.
Oh my goodness.
But it's not only Jackson who wants to invite you on.
Uh-huh.
Oh, look at them. There's my doppelganger. It is
what?
A special name drop from Skeleton Crew.
Yeah. Did they say Crimson Jack? Well, I believe they did. So I'm going to get into my Crimson Jack disguise. There we go. This is the disguise that Disney would not let me.
Yep.
Okay, there's the wig. My wig. The wig's right over here.
Hold on. I have to fix the felt. There we go.
And then now
wait.
I know what you're all saying. You're all saying, hey, Is that Crimson Jack and Jackson? Did they just take over skywalking through Neverland?
Well, yes, we did.
Oh, you would think you would have had some holiday eggnog, huh?
Yeah, that's right, Richard. You do have to show off now your quads, though.
Oh, people have seen my quads.
They have,
They
yes.
have in my Crimson Jack post. So this is why we're a little bit late today, because we had to go looking for our Crimson Jack and Jackson disguises.
Jeff, you look exactly like Jude Law.
Well, mission accomplished then. Mission. Oh, you know what?
Oh, look at that.
Now that I put my
that actually
glasses on,
looks
I can
kinda
see.
cute.
Wow, I kind of look like a redheaded Crimson Jack
You do.
Santa Claus.
Yeah, I made that.
Yeah,
That beard.
yeah. So we made these for the Run Disney races a
Mhm.
couple of years ago,
Oh,
2012.
geez, like
yeah.
10 years ago.
Yeah, and they wouldn't let me race looking like this.
With something on the front of his face, like
Yeah.
obscuring the face.
Yeah, your mom
unfortunately.
spent all night long making this,
Oh, me and my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
and when we got there, they said nope. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Oh, we were so mad. I
We're
was so
sad.
mad. We were all so
We
mad.
were, because I mean, this
Look at
makes
this.
the outfit.
Look at this. Why would you not let me run like
It's
this?
freaking amazing.
Oh, I know it is.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah. So you know what? Forget you, Disney. We won't race in your races anymore.
You know what?
Well, maybe you will.
Yeah. I'll do some yoga. That's my next.
Yeah,
thing.
there you go. That'll show them. That'll even the score.
Rex Gordon, I'm going to start a mass email to Disney to cast Richard and Sarah. This is the real Star Wars. Yes.
Ugh.
Okay. Well, shall we continue?
We
in-
shall
in these
continue.
outfits. I mean,
Yes.
this
Let's
is
see how
fun.
long I can record like this.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. Well, Skywalkers, we are your enthusiastic, as you can tell,
Prove it.
podcast destination.
Prove it.
For the many decades of your Star Wars, Disney, Marvel, and pop culture fandom. So it's time for your weekly Wookiee hug from Crimson Jack and Jackson, and a sprinkle of pixie dust for our family of Skywalkers. Now, we are recording this episode, for good or for bad, live on the Skywalking Through Neverland YouTube channel right now. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and then click the little bell for notifications, because sometimes we go live unexpectedly, like today. And subscribing to the channel really helps. Now, Richard, did you have an update on our subscribers?
Yeah, last time we were recording, we were at 9,144 YouTube subscribers.
Okay.
And I think we asked for 9,155.
Yes.
Well, guess what? Say what?
What?
They got us to
Oh,
9181. 9,181 YouTube
it
subscribers.
shot up 30
Yeah, almost like
subscribers?
yes.
How? When?
I guess people like us. They really like us.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, whoever's watching this as we speak, can you get a screenshot of this and post it?
Say, hey, go live right now. Watch us live. Okay.
Yes, Crimson
Wow.
Jack is in the house
That's right.
with his pal Jackson.
Wow. So we're almost
We
in
just
the...
won't call you Rabbit.
No.
No.
No, don't you
No,
dare.
no.
I'll kick you.
All
right. So we're almost to 9,200.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
exciting.
That's what we asked last time. Can you please, for the Christmas miracle, get us to 9,200 subscribers on YouTube?
Well, I will be posting some behind the scenes video from Mufasa press conference. So hopefully that will help.
Well, that'll do it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we also climbed on Instagram, our Instagram followers. So thank you to all we have some Skeleton Crew press reels right now from the kids. They're sharing some insight into Skeleton Crew. So we now have 4,391 followers on Instagram. Wow.
Oh, we can get to 4,400 easily by the end of the year. It's only 9. Come on.
Let's do it.
They can do it. All
Okay.
right. Speaking of doing it,
Yeah.
what? That didn't sound right at all. That didn't sound right whatsoever.
Let's give it a
So
different transition.
Let's just segue into what's coming up on this episode.
Well, in this episode, we are breaking down issue number 108, Forever Crimson. This is the last issue in the classic Marvel Star Wars comics original wave, even though it was released in 2019, 33 years after the series ended with issue 107. So we're going to break down the history of the comic and the supersized story with lots of familiar fan favorite faces. And if you are watching this on YouTube right now, either live or after the fact, after we posted our actual episode, you will see the comic book pages as we go through the whole breakdown.
Oh, another good reason to subscribe to us on YouTube.
Mhm.
These pages are not to be missed.
No.
All right, now, do you know what else is not to be missed?
What?
Our good friends over there at Small World Vacations. Now, this episode is being sponsored by them, Small World Vacations, and they are a diamond level Disney vacation planner travel agency that can help you book your trip to a Disney park around the world and on the Disney cruises. And best of all, this service is free of charge. So head over there to smallworldvacations.com for a no obligation price quote and tell them Skywalking Through Neverland sent you. And then go, yo ho, a Crimson Jack for me.
Woohoo! And do the little whistle. I can't whistle.
I can't whistle on this.
You can't whistle
I
now.
can
I can't
hardly
whistle.
talk in this.
That's a good
That's-
whistle I got.
That's the Old Spice whistle.
Do, 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 do. Is that the Old Spice thing? Do, 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 do. No, I can't whistle. Someone, you guys whistle for us.
All right, now we are recording this from Long Beach, California on December the 18th, 2024.
So, Richard, what happened today in Star Wars history?
All right, gonna get serious now, okay? So, okay, hold on. All right, okay, because
Should I take this off now too?
don't be silly.
Oh, okay. Yay, I get to keep it on.
All right, so 9 years ago today, the world welcomed The Force Awakens, the long-awaited Star Wars episode 7.
And oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, after a 10-year wait, after the prequels, we finally got episode 7, The Force Awakens, even though they didn't call it episode 7. They just called it Force Awakens.
Oh.
So this film opened 9 years ago today on 4,134 screens. I'm sorry, I should say theaters.
Oh,
Multiple screens in different theaters.
okay.
It opened up in 2D and 3D and IMAX 3D, which is why it's kind of hard to track box office totals these days. Because like, okay, how much was made from 2D or 3D or IMAX 3D, or they even have more IMAX standard caffeine-free versions now. I've lost track. We don't go to the movies that often.
No.
Now, the build-up, as we can all agree, to The Force Awakens was a cultural phenomenon. In fact, we lived in front of this Chinese theater right now that we're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, don't make me say it. IMAX.
Oh, the
TCL.
TCL Chinese Theater IMAX?
Yes.
Okay.
TCL. Yes,
right.
even you forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all of December leading up to The Force Awakens premiere, we lived right there on the Chinese theater forecourt.
Mhm.
We slept over. We had all of our friends there from liningup.com.
.net.
.net, that's what I said. And on December the 14th, they had the world premiere. Oh, go to the next slide.
Oh yeah.
These are our passes right there.
Oof.
Because of our involvement, we got to go to this Force Awakens world premiere and the after party.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness. That is why we started the podcast, because we wanted to be invited to world premieres. And within a year?
Yeah.
A year?
2 years, yeah.
2013, yes.
Mhm.
Within 2 years, bucket list item check.
Absolutely.
Then we got a chance to go to The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker and Mandalorian and stuff, and it just started all pouring down. It
Yeah.
all started right here. This is why we started Skywalking Through Neverland. One of the reasons.
Oh, well, yes, one of the reasons. The other reason is we get to talk to you folks
Yes,
every week.
that was the primary reason right there. I know this is a tangent, but just to speak to more people than in our small circle here in Long Beach,
Mhm.
get a chance to really blossom out to the world.
Yeah, we loved it.
Yeah. So what's going to happen next year on the 10th anniversary?
Next year.
Oh,
Oh my
they-
god.
they-
10 years already.
10
You are
years.
so right.
Yeah, when I went to Celebration Zero, which was the 10th anniversary of Star Wars, that felt like a lifetime.
Mhm.
Now, 2015, oh yeah, what was that, yesterday?
That's true.
So hopefully, fingers crossed for a big Force Awakens re-release.
Yes. All right. So now we're going to get into it.
Yes.
Okay. So should I change our
Yes,
background?
change the background now.
Okay. All right, Scout. Okay. So we're going to keep this.
Yeah.
Okay. Or, oh, I do have this one. You
Okay.
want that one?
Yeah.
Okay. All righty. There we go. And then we're going to set this back up to slide 1. You don't have to, well, do you want to just wear the wig? I think, I
Okay.
mean,
Yeah.
no, actually, I mean, just the, well, is it hard to talk?
Yeah, it's kind of hard.
Okay. All right. It looks cute. But
I'll wear it for the opening.
okay. Thanks for bearing with us, Skywalkers. Let's see. We got, I think Adam O'Brien joined us. Oh, and Pierre Kelly. Excellent. And Hillsborough High School.
Oh, that's Rex.
Is that okay, Rex? Wait, well, Rex Gordon is here. Is he also? Is
Oh,
he?
he may
Are you
have gone-
watching on YouTube now? Okay,
Yeah, maybe going to a different.
excellent. Okay. All right. Are you ready?
We're
It is
here.
Rex. Okay.
Oh, Rex wouldn't miss one of these.
No. All right. So far, I have not heard any scratches,
Okay.
which is good.
Can you keep on wearing it?
I can.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Thanks.
All right.
All
Ready?
right, we are ready,
Guess who's back? It's me, Crimson Jack.
and
Hey.
it's me, Jackson.
Where did Richard and Sarah go?
I don't know, but don't call me Bunny
Or Rabbit?
or Rabbit.
Hey, do you know what else is back?
What?
Classic Marvel Star Wars comics. That is what is back, and we are so excited now with all this talk about Crimson Jack and Skeleton Crew. We felt this was a perfect time to bring back classic Marvel Star Wars comics because, as we always say, there are so many connections and parallels of these comic stories and characters to the current shows like Skeleton Crew. I got to admit, I was kind of sad when I heard some people and saw some people online saying, "Who's Crimson Jack?" It's like, oh, you've got to watch these classic Marvel Star Wars comics breakdowns
Well,
right over here on Skywalking Through Neverland.
That's true. And admittedly, though, if it weren't for these breakdowns, I would not have known who Crimson Jack was.
Right, which is why I say, fans, if you really want to do the deep dive and you really want to get all these parallels to the classic Marvel Star Wars comics, well, tune in here because we're going to break them all down for you as we go through each and every issue.
Mhm.
And it's always fun to go through these classic comics and share memories of reading these comics when I was a kid.
Yeah, you share memories of those, but I'm reading these comics for the very first time. I'm sharing my 21st century response to these comics, as well as my artistic thoughts. And then I love comparing the different styles that the artists bring to the series. How do people draw Leia or Luke? Or, I know, right? Or even Amazia Foxtrain, her costume.
Oh, you must have had a field day with this issue.
Yes, we did.
All right, so in the last classic Marvel Star Wars comics episode we did back in October, we broke down issue 50, The Crimson Forever, and this issue came out in 1981. But this issue we're going to do today, we're going to break down issue 108, and this is a continuation of The Crimson Forever called Forever Crimson. Now, this issue was part of Marvel's 80th anniversary celebration in 2019, where they added this particular issue 33 years after the classic Marvel Star Wars comics wrapped in 1986. You get all that math?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of numbers in there.
Yeah.
So at the end of this issue that we're going to do right now, there are blurbs from the artists and writers about their time working at Marvel. Favorite character of senior editor Mark Panacea was Valance the Hunter.
Oh,
who was introduced in issue number 16 from 1978. I would say that we have Crimson Jack, Jackson, and I would say Valance
Yes,
are the top 3 characters that came out of classic Marvel Star Wars comics.
I would think so.
Yeah, and then gotta throw in the Hoojibs.
Of course.
Mhm.
Yes.
Now, Mark Panacea, am I saying that right? Panacea, yes. He called writer-artist Walt Simonson, who co-created Valance with Archie Goodwin, and asked if he had any interest in doing a cover for issue 108
Oh,
or
wow.
even do some artwork in the comic itself. And Walt mentioned that he once wanted to do a sequel to The Crimson Forever.
Oh,
So from there, this issue took its shape.
wow. Oh my goodness. So as a reminder, here is a summary of issue number 50, The Crimson Forever. Now, Luke Skywalker has contracted a deadly virus known as the Crimson Forever from a red jewel. This virus leaves its victims with blood red eyes, red skin, and slows down your life functions until it just kills you. Leia remembers a story Han told her about red crystals and summons Lando and Chewbacca back to their new base. Chewbacca then retells the story of how he and Han were captured and forced to retrieve the crystals from a temple. This story may hold the answer to saving Luke's life from this Crimson Forever virus. Spoiler, they did save Luke's life.
Well, we did that in the last episode, so that's already been revealed.
Well, yes.
And it was revealed back in 1981.
Yeah. So now in Forever Crimson, this is the issue we're covering today. The cosmic civil war is over. The Empire has fallen. The tyrannical dark lords of the Sith who ruled the galaxy, Emperor Palpatine and Darth Vader, are destroyed. And the heroic Rebel Alliance has restored freedom to star systems with the formation of the New Republic. But a long-forgotten threat, one more terrible than even the Sith, is still out there in the wilds of deep space, and its return could annihilate all life in the galaxy. Once again, only the freedom fighters, Princess Leia Organa, Luke Skywalker, and Han Solo, and Chewbacca, can hope to stand against the forces of evil. This is their story.
Okay, this is gonna get exciting because this, like the last issue, The Crimson Forever, is a double-sized super episode, super issue.
I would say it's like a quadruple sized.
Yeah, it's 48 pages.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
So let's get started.
Okay.
So this one here, issue 108, Forever Crimson, was released on May the 29th, 2019, and it was written by Matthew Rosenberg. The artwork there's 8 chapters to this, and each chapter had its own artist, and they ranged from Giuseppe Camuncoli, Andrea Brocardo, Kerry Gamel, Z. Carlos, Jan Dursima, Stefano Landini, Luke Ross, I can say that one, Cam Smith, oh, I can say that one too, Chris Sotomayor, and Leonard Kirk.
Leonard Kirk. That's like Kirk and Leonard Nimoy. And it's a very Star Trek name. Okay.
Now the cover art here this was done by Walt Simonson and Antonio Fabela.
So Walt Simonson came back and did this cover art. Yes.
All right, so here we see Darth Vader and Valance the Hunter. They're engaged in a deadly battle. Darth Vader pierces down with his lightsaber, which is being blocked by laser fire by Valance, from Valance. Backed, and the backdrop is a yellow-orangey backdrop.
Exactly, yeah.
Not a star field, it's just a backdrop. A yellowy orange backdrop.
Yeah, it's almost like there's like fire behind them, right? That's kind of what it looks like because it's glowing behind them.
It does make it pop, but you know what? Let's hear your reactions.
Okay.
And then we'll go to my reactions and the Facebook reactions. And then if anyone in the Sky Chat has got anything to say about this cover art, please let loose.
Let us know. Glenn has his issue right here. So great. Glenn,
Nice.
You're following along. I love it. Okay, so yes, I really love the fact that the blaster bolt that Valance is like shooting and Darth Vader's lightsaber, they clash to create this bright white glow smack in the middle of the cover. It really draws you in because Darth Vader and Valance are both in like dark gray or black with little hints of blue highlights, but they're very dark. And so to have that contrasting bright white blue light and then the orange background, they really stand out. Now, I found it funny that they're kind of both of them are in awkward poses so that they look good for the cover. Like you would think that Valance would be across from Darth Vader, but right here he's shown kind of behind Darth Vader, but like in front of his cape. So somehow he's like right by Darth Vader's leg, and Darth Vader hasn't, cut his head off yet. So it's cute. Now, the Marvel 80 years logo is in the top left corner. We don't see Luke Skywalker in his low V-neck top. We see that Marvel 80 logo. And there is a signature under Vader by Walt Simonson. It is dated January 29th, 2019. And under his signature, he has written for Archie. Now, this refers to Archie Goodwin.
The writer, yeah.
Yeah, he co-created Valance the Hunter. I thought that was really neat.
A very nice nod to one of the top men in Star Wars during the expanded universe time of the 70s and 80s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, and you know what? Jeff is saying this would draw me in for sure. And yes, I feel like it's very dramatic and would draw me in as well. So,
now,
Richard, what about you?
For me, this cover is very misleading since Darth Vader is only in a brief flashback that reminds the readers of Valance's story from the original classic Marvel Star Wars comics storyline. I think he's in maybe 2 pages.
Yeah.
And these two are supposed to be equals. Valance and Darth Vader, they say several times that Darth Vader has met his match with Valance. So I don't see that here in this cover. Valance should not be cowering like that. And when I first saw this cover back in 2019, it did not excite me because knowing what I know about Valance, that's not Valance. That's the Valance prototype. That's the Valance clone. That's not someone who is the Darth Vader's equal. Now, like you were saying, if they were face-to-face, head-to-head in combat, that would have drawn me in because like Superman is not the most exciting character just because, he can never die. If you do have some kryptonite, maybe then you can do some damage. And like Darth Vader is very powerful. What can bring him down? Almost nothing. But here we have Valance, his equal. So I want to see them mono on mono.
So kind of like this Mufasa, the Lion King, like picture here.
Yes.
Where you have Taka and Mufasa facing off, and Taka becomes Scar.
Yes. That's something like that.
Yeah.
So this did not excite me. And I think I did buy it the first day of release, but I don't think I read it until yesterday.
Oh my goodness. How funny.
Right.
Wow.
All right. So as always, we put out the cover in our Facebook group and our Facebook page and ask all the Skywalkers, what do you think about this cover art?
So Scott Bauman wrote, I looked directly at the Flash with no eye protection. Ah! It was very cute. Also, nice to see Simonson give a nod to original 1970s writer Archie Goodwin in his signature at the bottom right of this 2019 cover. And all of us fans of classic Marvel comics really picked that up. That was nice.
Rex Gordon, who is in our Sky Chat right now, he wrote, I was joking about it, and then it happened. Crimson Jack. I think if all of us say Crimson Jack 3 times at the same time, Crimson Jack appears. Oh, someone just said it 3 times.
Look at that.
Oh, he's back.
Look at that. Crimson Jack is back.
Yeah, he's back. Someone just said it 3 times.
Oh my goodness, I love it.
All right, then Rex continues on this cover. I kind of think it channels Infantino, Carmine Infantino.
Okay.
I like the saber light blast. Vader has a weird move, but that's the old school style. Make mine Marvel. Enough said.
Nice.
Yeah. So whereas in the past when we put these out, a lot of people will comment on these cover arts and the artwork, And
Not so many this
not a
time.
lot of people were very excited about this.
Well, you know what I think it is? It's not a classic Marvel comic because it came out in 2019.
Right.
So it's kind of more fun to comment on those old school 70s and 80s covers because they're just so different than what we're used to seeing today.
Yeah, it really harkens back to the 1970s and 80s.
Right.
But then again, Jeff Caffrey here says this would draw me in for sure.
Mhm.
Okay, there's one.
Yeah.
All right, now let's continue with the story.
Okay, sounds good. So, chapter 1, The Legend of Valance the Hunter. Now, how many chapters did you say this had, Richard?
There's 8.
8 chapters. So, this is chapter 1 of 8, and the narration reads, "He was the most feared bounty hunter in all the galaxy. It is said even Boba Fett himself trembled at the utterance of his name. In the early days of the Galactic Civil War, Valance stalked his prey with brutal efficiency. Like a Vornsker who has already tasted blood, Valance would let nothing stand in his way. Not Empire, not Rebel, nothing could stop him."
All right, it's time for a Fatum Fast Fact.
Oh my goodness. So Vornsker was like, oh my gosh, I immediately recognize this name from Timothy Zahn's Heir to the Empire trilogy. And they are canine beasts that could hunt using the Force. And they're attracted to those who are Force sensitive. So some bounty hunters and pirates used them to hunt Luke Skywalker out in the forests.
Mm.
Yeah. And they developed this Force predatoriness because they would hunt Isalamari, which
Oh.
are create the Force bubbles. So like the two animals kind of evolved around each other,
Like the
using
yin and
Force.
yang.
Yes, exactly.
Force sensitive creatures. Interesting.
Yeah, and Vornskers were native to the forest planet Merkur and hunted the Salamari. Yeah, and they first appeared in Heir to the Empire in 1991. So they're a creation of Timothy Zahn. And yes,
we always run into Timothy Zahn at
Yes.
convention, so we've got to ask him: did these Vornskers? Did you look in a book at Lucasfilm and see all these creatures, or did you?
I think he created these.
You know what? You're
I mean, he
right. You
did.
know what? I'm thinking backwards. I'm thinking backwards.
You're thinking
right.
backwards. No, he
So-
created these. He created the Salamari, which Thrawn used. He put them on his shoulders.
It's like big ferrets, right?
Yeah, they're like I would say they're almost more like chameleons, like big giant chameleons that kind of sit
Right.
on your they're very slow moving sloth chameleons, but they repel the Force, so they create Force bubbles. So he would always use them around people like Mara Jade and Luke who could use the Force. That way they couldn't use the Force around him.
Okay, so Marvel then probably saw these in Heir to the Empire. They probably saw them in the New Jedi Order book series.
Mhm.
They were also in Knights of the Republic,
Knights of the Old Republic.
Knights of the Old
video game.
Republic, the novel,
Okay.
and Darth Plagueis.
Mm.
So they may have seen these creatures and said, "Hey, we want to put those into the classic Marvel Star Wars comics." So now we're working backwards.
Yep. I know, it's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. They brought them back to bring them back. It's back to the future of Marvel Comics.
Right. All right, now explain this splash page.
Woo. Okay. Well, we have a big title, The Legend of Valance the Hunter. And Valance is in this blue-gray armor in the middle of the page, sort of. And he is mid-battle with all these felled people and aliens around him, whom it's implied that he has, beaten them. And he is simultaneously blasting a male Twi'lek in the chest behind him while decapitating a walrus man in the foreground with a laser blast from his hand, kind of Iron Man style.
Mhm.
And ships rise up behind him. It's a very action-centric page, and you can tell that basically Valance is a badass.
They're not even trying to hide the Punisher Easter egg.
Oh,
He's got a little skull on his armor.
oh my, he does?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And he kind of has a Reed Richards look with
Mm.
the dark hair, but with the gray templed sides.
Yeah, I can see that. Interesting.
All right. Now, this next page summarizes Valance's character as previously seen in the classic Marvel Star Wars comics of the 1970s. Now, Valance rose to the ranks of the Clone Wars during the Jedi Purges, oh my goodness, Dave Filoni, you've got to add him into like any kind of Clone Wars thing you're gonna do for 2025.
Oh,
You know he's not done with the Clone Wars or Bad Batch. You've got to add Valance in there. So he rose to the ranks during the
Balance.
so Valance rose through the ranks of the Clone Wars during these Jedi purges, and then became one of the fiercest stormtroopers in the Empire. And during the war, his entire unit was killed by the rebels, but he managed to survive only to become a fate worse than death. He was made into a cyborg. And we see all of this in those classic Marvel Star Wars comics, I believe, beginning with issue 16.
Right.
So after the Empire discharged him, since they had no need for a cyborg soldier, meanwhile, Darth Vader saying, hello, hello.
He can use the Force, so.
Yeah, but I guess I'm not sure anyone knew if he was a cyborg or what he was, and that was part of the mystery of Darth Vader. So Valance then became a ruthless bounty hunter, and he had one characteristic trait. He hated droids. He hated that he was almost one of them. Then, during a confrontation with Luke Skywalker, he saw the companionship Luke had with C-3PO, and he was reminded of compassion. See, he's not a bad guy. And it was Valance who stood in the way when Darth Vader came hunting for Luke. And it was said that Darth Vader met his match that day. That's what I'm talking about. That's what this cover should have represented.
Yeah.
A match for Darth Vader.
I still feel that particular comic issue was like the most poignant issue we've ever read.
Oh, yes.
Classic Marvel Star Wars comics.
Yeah, I believe that one was issue 27.
Okay. Nice.
All right, now let's explain this splash page. Why wasn't this the cover, this splash page here?
Well, it is the different angle of the comic book cover, and it favors Valance in this one. So I think, Darth Vader, he's like the #1 villain anywhere, not just Star Wars, anywhere. He's going to draw people in. So I understand why they used him for the cover, because here you can barely tell that's Darth Vader cowering in the corner, right?
Yeah, but make Valance stand up. Okay, I'll never get over this.
Well, I do like that Valance here is in bright blue with silver. He's not in this like kind of gray muted. So this looks much better. And Valance is in the foreground, so therefore he's much bigger than Vader, and he's using his droid arm to blast Vader, who is blocking the blast with his lightsaber. Vader's cape is flying up behind him, and both the black and the blue stand out against that yellow, orange, red background.
So I guess that is really representing lava.
Because
that's where they fought at that Ruby Flame Lake.
Exactly. And Jeff is saying that this is a better perspective. Which you say too.
Much better.
Yeah. Toe-to-toe with Vader. Yeah, so this does better represent Valance, at least.
Yeah. And to say that he is a badass for going up against Darth Vader. All right, so rather than being caught by Vader and keeping Luke's identity a secret, Valance plunged himself into a river of lava. Very Terminator-esque.
Very much. And I love the layout of this page. You get these small panels depicting Valance like deciding to break away from Vader, clasping his hand over the cliff, and he falls. And then there's a single large panel of Vader looking at the place where Valance has disappeared into the lava. And I feel like this larger panel really allows you as the reader to take a pause and contemplate Valance's sacrifice.
Yeah, and he was a character that had depth to him.
Yeah.
He wasn't just a two-dimensional character. He sacrificed himself for Luke Skywalker.
Absolutely.
I love Valance.
Yeah, he's very cool.
All right, we then go to the planet Centauri's 5. So then we go to the planet Centauri's 5 years later. A salvage crew consisting of a Twi'lek, a human, a Gamorrean, a Rodian, and a droid search the dry Ruby Flame Lake bed where that great battle between Valance and Darth Vader took place. And the Twi'lek named Dozler tells them that the Twi'lek named Dozler tells his crew that the ghost of Valance the Hunter still wanders these shores. Captain Thea scoffs, Dozler telling his ghost stories again. I kind of like that fact that Valance is like now a myth. He's a ghost. He's
Mm.
he's a ghost story.
Right.
Wow, there's places to go with that.
Yeah, so Captain Thea goes on. So Dozler telling his ghost stories again, just like your story about the witches on Dathomir. I can't speak. Just like your story about the witches on Dathomir who kept pet, what was it? Nexu? And Dozler corrects her, Rancors. Guess what, guys? Another Fatum fast fact. The witches of Dathomir who ride pet Rancors first originated in the Courtship of Princess Leia novel by Dave Wolverton from 1994. One of my second favorite novel of those legends.
And I love the fact that they're not just pulling from Marvel, they're pulling from the expanded universe.
Right. Now, I know at this point when this 2019 comic was written, the Witches of Dathomir are commonly known now because of the Clone Wars TV series. But still, they were riding pet Rancors, and that is attributed to the Courtship of Princess Leia novel specifically.
And that's what I love about this, because they are pulling something as specific as that from a novel, a non-Marvel book.
Exactly. And Rex is saying so many EU references.
Oh,
yes.
Oh, hang tight.
Yeah.
Hang tight, Rex.
Keep going. All right.
All right. Now, not only are they searching for scrap to sell, but any remains of Valance. Little did they know, his skull sits in a bin that their Magno Sweeper had picked up. So their crew was just joined by one. Valance is right there. Look down. Look down.
Look down, bottom right corner of this comic. Oh my goodness.
All right, so this leads into chapter 2, Near Misses and Narrow Escapes. In a cantina on the planet of Stanos, Han and Chewie are taking a job from an alien named Slider, where they have to deliver what looks like a tiny purple eggplant.
Yeah, this top right corner.
Yeah, this really is called the Arachne Bloom. Or
what?
Arachne Bloom.
Hmm.
Don't we have a friend named Arachne Bloom?
I'm not sure. Or Arachne Bloom. Have you guys ever heard that before outside of this comic? That's what I want to know.
Oh, well, I did a Fatum fast fact, and the only thing that came up was Orlando Bloom. The internet could not find Arachne Bloom.
That makes sense.
It kept bringing up pictures of Orlando.
How funny.
Now, before Han and Chewie can head out, they are approached by a couple of thugs who recognize them. Han says to the thugs that they may recognize him since he was a pretty big deal in the Battle of Endor.
Big deal! Big deal! Okay, well, that's a reference to Force Awakens.
Yeah, that's a Finn-ism.
Uh-huh. He was a big deal. Oh, I love that.
Now, the red thug says that the bounties are pretty big for rebel generals. Now, Han never said he was a rebel general. But just then, that red thug, he slapped off the blue thug's shoulder by Chewbacca. As Chewbacca picks up the blue thug over his head, mercenaries come out of the woodwork and they aim their blasters on these big bounties, or should I say, on these big deals.
Nice. All right. Well, Han, Chewie, and Slider race out after the owner threatens to roast them for dinner after what they did to his bar. Hey, it takes two to tango. It's not like they caused the fight.
Yeah, they weren't the
instigators?
They weren't the instigators.
No. All right. Well, this owner, I do have to say, he kind of looks like Man-Thing. I got Man-Thing vibes. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I can see by the tendrils that
The
are hanging off.
I know he's got a different mouth.
And the way that he's hunched over.
Yeah. That's kind of what did it, is like how he's hunched reminded me of Man-Thing here.
All right. Even Glenn says looks like an eggplant. You talking about the bartender or the Arachne Bloom?
Probably the Arachne Bloom.
Next time we see Orlando Bloom, we're going to say, hey, look, it's Arachne Bloom. He'll love that. He'll understand exactly what we're talking about.
Of course.
Now, as they race away, Slider is blasted into a lump of green smoke.
Oh, my God.
That is morbid.
It's terrible. Look at that.
Right in the center there.
Smoke, like, cloud. Okay.
Han and Chewie duck out inside a scrap room, and suddenly Han is kicked in the face by a white boot. Who wears white boots?
Who does that boot belong to?
Look who it is, everyone. It's our friend. Hey, look, there's Sarah.
It's Jackson. Oh, he and the sultry Amaza Fox Train.
Well, wait a minute. Are you sure that's a Mesa? We can't see a lot of her flesh.
No,
She's not wearing something skimpy.
no, like that.
Like that.
She's not wearing basically a bra, a very scantily clad bra and briefs
Yeah.
and thigh-high boots.
Mhm,
Nope. She's got like a bodysuit,
Yeah.
which still doesn't leave much to the imagination, but she is totally covered.
Yeah. There's no cleavage at this time.
No, and she still has her signature shoulder pom-poms. And her little flower in her hair. Look at that.
Wait, is there a flower in her hair here? Oh,
Yeah,
there is.
there
Okay.
is. There's
It's
a
very
little flower.
muted.
It's more muted.
Whereas in the
yes.
original Amaza, it was like a bright blood red.
Yeah, the flower in her hair for this 2019 comic more matches her light pink pom-poms rather than her red bodysuit. And Jackson is in the same garb that he wore
Mhm.
for the original comics.
All right, come on, cosplayers. We
I-
need an Amaza Fox Train cosplayer.
You know, I could definitely get behind this new 2019 Amaza Fox Train. I would never ever wear
Come on, you gotta go back to the basics. You gotta go back to
the
the
original
to the
81
1977.
comic. No.
Yeah.
No, I can't do it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
How about, who else is going to heed our plea? All right, moving right along. So for some reason, which I still can't figure out, Jackson brings up how much Domina Tag is hated in these parts.
Mhm.
Now, I feel like something was edited out that prompted Jackson to bring up Domina Tag.
It kind of comes out of nowhere. It
Yeah.
really does. And I know it's for story purposes because we're going to see
Right.
Domina Tag later. And she is a prominent figure in the classic Marvel Star Wars comics.
That's why I think that maybe something was edited out.
Okay.
Now, Han then says that she's the one who tried to spread the disease known as the Crimson Forever to end all life in the galaxy.
Because she was fed up with the rebellion. She was fed up with the Empire. She just wanted everyone dead.
Yeah, well, we'll get into that in just a bit.
Hmm.
Just then, a bug creature blasts a hole in the wall and says, "Hey, rabbit, back off. I saw them first."
Now, if you know anything about Jackson, he likes to be called Rabbit as much as Marty McFly likes to be called Chicken.
Mm-mm.
And he pretty much has the same reaction as Marty,
Mhm.
which is to fight and not flight. And Jackson blasts that bug creature who falls dead on his face.
Look at that. He has a face plant.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
All right, just then, 4 more bounty hunters come through the hole in the wall. Han, Chewie, Jackson, and Amaza race away.
And then, just as it's getting good, Chapter 3, A Scavenger's Mistake.
Now, the salvage crew, led by the human Captain Thea, we met them earlier,
Mhm.
they are bringing a bin of scrap to the New Republic to sell.
Okay. Here, a commander reaches out to someone on a comlink who tells him to make sure none of this scrap can be traced back to her.
Mm.
He replies, "Understood, mistress," as he pulls out a blaster.
Uh-oh, wait a minute. Are they really the New Republic? I don't think so.
No,
Mm-mm.
he's going to tie up some loose ends.
Yes, his way.
Mhm.
And I got to keep this PG, so we're going to cut away to Chapter 4, Old Worries in the New Republic.
Wow, this comic just moves right along, doesn't it?
Now, in the New Republic Hall on Nokees Visor.
Oh, wait a minute. Can we go back to this insect
Oh,
who I think Han blasts in the face?
Jackson Blast.
Jackson blasts in the face. Rex is saying that the insect is a Hiromi from the late issues.
Oh, so in the classic Marvel late issues.
Oh, I guess we
Oh.
haven't got there yet.
Mm-mm.
Okay, well, thank you for that update. I love it.
All right, now Rex, tell me how to pronounce this. Nokees Visor. All right, this is the name of the planet,
Okay.
so we won't dwell on that too much until the Toon Bass fact. Princess Leia is telling a group of red-skinned guys, they don't get names or we don't know their alien race.
Right.
I looked it up and I couldn't find anything.
Mm.
Now she is telling them that the Republic forces are spread too thin and that the Mandalorian and Nagai will have to understand.
I think they're Nagai then. Nagai. Wouldn't they be? Nagai. A near human sentient species from Nagi.
Yeah. No, they're not red.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're the
Pale skin, jet black hair.
I think they're Zeltrons.
What?
This-
Where did this come from?
They're the same as Danny. We'll get to Danny in just a little bit.
Oh, okay. Okay, so actually Rex is saying I thought these guys are Zeltrons.
Oh,
Okay.
Wow, look at that.
Okay. Oh, so they are pulling from the classic Marvel
Yeah,
comics.
Yes.
Just comics that we're actually not there yet.
Yeah, and it didn't dawn on me until right now. Like, wait, they're red. Danny is red. Maybe
Okay.
Zeltron. All right,
Like Danny.
I'm so glad you guys were in the Sky Chat
Yes, thank you.
to confirm things.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right, now Leia mentions the TOF threat, but I never got what that is. And I don't think maybe that's not too important, but she keeps mentioning a TOF assassin, a TOF,
Tough.
a TOF, this threat.
Right.
But this is just a small story thing that propels the story, so maybe we
Right.
don't really have to know.
No.
Now there is a Patum fast fact on the planet of Noki's Visor. Oh my goodness.
Nokivzor? Sure.
Yeah. Well, this planet went on to appear in the X-Wing book series starting in 1996, and it was also mentioned in the 1998 book I, Jedi.
Okay.
So once again, I'm loving the fact that this writer is pulling from the expanded universe novels and not just the Marvel books.
This just in from Rex. Toph are green and acted like pirates from the final issues of the classic Marvel
Okay.
Star Wars
Yeah,
comics.
it's been a couple of decades since I've gotten there.
Like actual Caribbean pirates in space pirate ships. I wonder if we'll see some Tophs in Skeleton Crew. Would that blow your mind? They've already mentioned Crimson Jack. I think that would be so amazing.
My eyes are watering with happiness.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Now let's go over this splash page, would you?
Okay. I really like this page. So you have Leia kind of in this like hollow bubble or something. I'm not sure why she's in the top left corner. Like her face, there's a close up on her face.
She's in a target.
Oh,
She
someone is
is-
targeting her face.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Oh,
I didn't get that until right about now.
I didn't get that either because the next page.
Yes. Okay. Yes. So
okay.
she's being targeted.
Got it. All right. Well, so you see Leia and 3PO, they're talking to you for what does he call these?
The Danny guy. Oh, the Zeltrons.
The Zeltrons, yes. So she's talking to 4 Zeltrons, and this page, I have to say, looks straight out of the 70s. With the man on the right, he's wearing these white go-go boots. The man in the center is wearing this crop top with a V-neck down his chest, and even the planet above them, right in the center of the page, looks like a disco ball. To me, this is giving like very 70s vibes. Leia is in her no-nonsense Hoth outfit without the white vest, and her hair is in the bun and hanging braids hairdo of Cloud City, which is my favorite hairdo of hers ever. And she's chatting with the 4 red-skinned aliens, but as we just discovered, her face is in a target.
Yeah, she's in the crosshairs.
Yeah, so just then...
Zark. Fazark.
That's right. The crosshairs, whoever was targeting her, lets fly a blaster bolt, and Leia pushes down one of the Zeltrons as she dodges a laser blast, and she blasts a Toph assassin who plummets off a spire. Then Leia tells one of her guards that she just sensed him. Yeah.
Now that force foreshadow from Leia never comes back.
You know what?
I thought, they're setting something up with this.
In a lot of the Legends material, she just gets like force sensitive from time to time, but they never really build out her force abilities. Like even in the beginning of Heir to the Empire, she's pregnant with the 2 kids, and they like do this whole thing. Timothy Zahn does this whole thing where she can sense their presence and kind of like nudges them with the force and stuff. But that's all.
Oh, you know what? Then
yeah.
So I forgive them.
Out. Yeah, it kind of is in line with that.
It very much is in line with, once again, pulling from the expanded universe novels.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? I will take away that
ding.
That ding, yes.
Okay.
All right, then who comes hopping over to Leia but Pliff the Hoojib? Oh, I was so excited to see not only Valance the Hunter and Jackson and Amazing Fox trained, but they also brought back Hoojibs. And look at him.
He's so
Little
cute.
Pliff. And I
Yeah.
love his little word bubbles because they have
Yeah.
these like the arrows
Yes,
that
they do.
point to him, which normally it's like a hook
Right.
from the word bubble. This is like an arrow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's so cute, and I love that the Hoojibs are in the comics again, and it's Pliff who is in that issue. I think I don't remember which issue it was, but the original comic book series has Pliff. He's like
Mhm.
the main Hoojib, and Pliff tells Leia that there's a badly damaged inbound ship that is not answering their transmissions. She says to shoot it down. Pliff then offers the ever important information that, oh, it's the Millennium Falcon.
Pliff, don't bury the lead. What are you doing?
It's so funny.
Because if the wrong person heard the "let's shoot it down,"
Yeah,
then there wouldn't be a Han and Chewie or Jackson or a Mesa anymore.
no
What
kidding.
kind of life is that? That's not a life I want to live in.
Not at all. So Leia marches away and tells 3PO to take her would-be assassin to a holding cell.
No, how is he still alive?
Because he fell from a really tall height.
And
don't
it was
know.
blasted with a zap. There's no way. Just throw him in a shallow grave.
Yep, and then she tells him to divert any military forces to support the Mandalorians' battle with the Toph.
There's that Toph again.
Yes.
Now the group watches the Millennium Falcon dive down into the planet's surface, and it goes right behind a mountain and then pulls back up with a mysterious glow around it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm loving this here. Look at 3PO. You can see the fear and the confusion in his very, very worried expression.
Yeah.
Look at the way his eyes are drawn.
His
I
eyes,
love
and
this.
I feel like what's giving him more of that worried expression is kind of the things around his helmet. What is that called? Like the reflections on his helmet make
On
him
his
look
head?
even more worried. Yeah, they almost give him eyebrows that
Yeah.
make him worried.
Yeah, the photoreceptors are like inset,
Yeah,
and so it's giving him a very worried look. I just love that little touch.
it's very cute. Yeah.
Now, lucky for Han, Luke was right there and used the Force to guide the Falcon to land safely.
Mhm.
Han, Chewie, Jackson, and Amazing come down the boarding ramp, and Leia snaps at Han.
Han Solo, you think you could just sneak off in the middle of the night like some no good laser blamed man? I almost had it. Let me try that again. Han Solo, you think you can just sneak off in the middle of the night like some no good laser brained son of a hut and then come back here like nothing happened? Cut to. She plants a big kiss on him.
That's not a little kiss. That's a big old Leia kiss.
That's a deep kiss.
Mhm.
She's very upset that she was worried, I think, and
Mm.
now he's back. So.
Yes. You know what? She had to vent it out. She
Yep.
got it all out.
Yep.
And now it's time for a little Han and Leia time.
I mean, if it's Han Solo right in front of you, I'm sorry, I'm kissing him.
And I'll let you put that on record.
All right.
All right, now Jackson says to Luke, "You must be Luke Skywalker." To which Luke responds, "I have a very bad feeling about this." Jackson, who evidently loves to bring up Domina Tag, explains that she was up to her old tricks and was trying to hire some smugglers. Amazing cuts in and says that the bounty hunters caught wind she was around and put a price on her head.
Uh-oh.
So Han, he brings it home and says that the bounty hunters followed he and Chewie, blasting them across the galaxy.
Oh
So
boy.
I can see how he would bring this up, but there's no lead in to Jackson saying that. So once again, I think there's a missing panel.
Okay. Well, Leia does know the name Domina Tag from issue 48, The Third Law, where she had to deal with her.
And what do we call this issue? The
Oh, that's my birthday
the Sarah
issue.
birthday issue.
That's right. With Leia and Darth Vader on the cover. So awesome. And Leia then recounts the events where Domina blamed the Empire and Rebellion for the death of her brother and tried to weaponize ancient jewels to spread the Crimson Forever plague to get revenge.
That's pretty severe.
And she sounds like the in Marvel, who's the bad guy who wanted to kill half the galaxy?
Thanos.
Yeah, she sounds like the Thanos of Star Wars, really. Only she wants to get rid of all, not just
Yeah.
half.
Yeah, well, Thanos was doing it for more of a bigger purpose, just to let the world breathe a little bit.
Yeah,
It was way overpopulated.
right.
But Domina, she just had this very personal vendetta,
Mhm.
and she was going to kill the galaxy because of it.
That's right.
Now, last Leia heard was that Domina was in exile and even sent out new rebel recruit Danny to check up on things.
Now,
And
Danny, that sounds familiar.
this is Danny right here.
Ah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Very fuchsia colored Zeltron.
Mm-hmm.
And she was introduced in issue 70 back in 1983.
Nice.
Now, the Marvel writers are having a great time just name dropping and squeezing in as much as they can from not only the classic run, but the expanded universe. And I can't say that enough because I'm just so excited for this.
Yeah. Now, 3PO tells Leia that Danny has not reported back. Uh-oh.
Now,
And
once again, we're getting a great expression from C-3PO. Look at his side eyes. They're showing so much more characteristic. See in his bottom panel
Yeah.
right there?
he's got like side, he's almost looking
Yeah.
to the side.
So wait a minute. So Danny, he hasn't reported it back yet, so things are not looking good.
Uh-oh. That's right. Okay, well, now we move on to chapter 5, For Fear of What Might Wake.
Now the Republic transport.
Pardon me.
So Domina's goons, they've stolen this Republic transport
Right.
and it is now traveling through deep space. The commander we met back in chapter 2, the commander we met back in chapter 3, who dealt with the loose ends,
Right.
tells the hologram of Mistress Domina Tag that the salvage crew was dealt with, so there are no loose ends.
Just to catch us up.
Just to make that very clear,
Yeah.
there are no loose ends.
Now it's a cool splash page because you see that I guess New Republic ship flying through space, and then we get a superimposed imposition of the cockpit where that Republic or that commander is talking to a hologram of Domina, and she is basically in the middle of the page as the hologram. She looks like a Force ghost.
Oh
honestly.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, it's cool.
Now, as this commander and Domina are talking, we see a metallic skull in the scrap bin. Its red eyes open, its red eyes open, and a mechanical hand reaches up and grabs the commander by the throat.
It's so cool. I love this panel here. How you get one panel where you see Valance in the foreground with, dead eyes. And then the next panel is basically the same, except for his eyes have turned on.
Yes, he's clicked into operation. But then this is like what, maybe 10 feet away, this bin of metal from the commander. But in the next panel, the hand reaches up. He's like Stretch Armstrong all of a sudden and reaches over and grabs the commander by the throat.
It's true.
I'm not sure how this is happening.
No.
So this Terminator-like skeleton of Valance comes to life and it grabs the commander's throat, and we hear a
oh my.
The guy in the background decides to shoot up in the air instead of shooting at the menacing murdering figure who just the commander's throat.
Oh my god. Wow, that's awful. All right. Well, in Domina's ship, Domina is fed up with her incompetent crew who lost track of the
Orlando Bloom. I'm sorry, Arachne. You're right.
They lost track of Orlando Bloom, and she was really into him.
Now, why is it that she needs to find? Now, let's explain why she needs to get her hands on this scrap metal. Because she had hired this crew to go get this scrap metal. Why do they need this scrap metal? Well, Domina needed the Durasteel scrap within Valance's body.
Oh.
And she needed this Durasteel to transport the Arachne Bloom.
Or the Crimson Forever.
Yeah, well, yes.
Okay. The
Arachne Bloom causes the Crimson Forever.
Well, I thought the jewels caused the
Yes, when they separate. Oh, you're right.
It's the jewels, not the Arachne Bloom. So it's just the jewels.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So should we start that again?
Yes.
Okay. Hold on. My nose is itchy. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
So
Domina, she needs the Durasteel scrap metal within Valance's body to transport this little eggplant Arachne Bloom.
No, the jewels. The Arachne Bloom is nothing as far as I
No,
know.
she says she needs
Really?
to transport.
Oh, the Arachne Bloom.
That's that
is-
little eggplant thing.
Right. No, that is the antidote.
Okay.
That's the antidote to the jewels.
Right.
So she needs the Durasteel. Okay, you guys weigh in. She needs the Durasteel to protect against the Crimson Forever, like the jewels. But the Arachne Bloom, she wants it because in case those jewels got out or got separated, that is the antidote.
Okay, I didn't get that, but they didn't really go into the Arachne Bloom.
Right. As far as I know, that's the
Okay.
antidote.
Okay. Let's start all up here.
Okay.
Now, Domina, she needs the Durasteel scrap metal within Valence's body to transport this Arachne Bloom, which is the antidote to the Crimson Forever. And without its Durasteel casing, the crew will not be safe from this virus.
Right.
So it's like having a heart in one of those coolers.
Mm-hmm.
But this is you need something really powerful like Durasteel.
Okay. All right. Well, back on the Republic transport, Valance the Terminator is demolishing the crew.
Yeah, he is.
That's a really cool page. Yeah.
Now the salvage crew's RA-7 droid, aka the Death Star droid, praises Valance for sparing him and says, "From one droid to another, thank you."
Now, Valance assures him that he is no droid. However, there is not much man left of him. The RA-7 droid tells Valance that he was pulled from the lake. His systems most likely went into stasis when the lake's toxins were detected, but then after he came out of their cleaning scrubbers, his functions must have been restored. So what's interesting about this page is out of all the comic book pages in this entire comic, it's almost devoid of color. You have grays, you have blacks, you have some beiges.
Blue steel.
You have a tiny bit of blue there. But when the two droids are talking, it's just kind
very
of devoid.
monochrome.
It's monochrome. Yes, that's a good thing. It's very big contrast to the rest of the comic.
So this Death Star droid, or the RA-7 droid, wherever way you want to put it, he introduces himself as FRD 8TKA.
So is that Fred Atka? Fred Atka?
It's like a license plate. You trying to figure it out?
Yeah, well, Fred is definitely FRD.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Now, he is a translation droid who specializes in Outer Rim cultures. And Valance introduces himself and brags that the Emperor himself once feared him. Well, FRD, he says,
Call him
okay.
Fred.
Yeah, Fred. All right, Valance, you got to sit down for this, okay? The Emperor is dead. And the Empire, also dead. So Fred, he then tells Valance of the Great Life Jewels and that when they're separated, they create a plague. But when joined together, they can restore life. And that this ship is on a mission to retrieve them as they were sent adrift in the unknown regions.
Ooh.
And this is all recapped from issue number 50. We saw
Yes.
this at the end of issue 50.
Yeah, but then Valance asks if the medbay on the ship has synth flesh.
Okay.
Then Valance asks if the medbay on the ship has synth flesh. I can't say that word. You say
Synth
it.
flesh.
Synth
Yeah,
flesh?
synthetic flesh.
Synthetic flesh.
Yeah, he's getting some ideas.
Yep.
All right, now chapter 6, On the Way to Forever. The Millennium Falcon speeds through hyperspace on its way to retrieve the Great Life Jewels. Suddenly, the Falcon is yanked out of hyperspace and has to pull up fast so it doesn't smash into this crippled Star Destroyer.
You know what this panel reminds me of up here at the very top? Skeleton Crew, when their ship, the
Onyx
Cinder, is pulled out of hyperspace after it leaves at Aten for the first time.
All right, a Skeleton Crew parallel.
Yeah.
Now, this is the same Star Destroyer that the Life Jewels were put on years ago and set into the unknown regions where they couldn't harm anyone. But it wasn't this ship that yanked the Millennium Falcon out of hyperspace. It was the sun that is pulling everything into it.
Okay, so nav computers are supposed to calculate against this kind of thing. But I guess they were going
Well, then-
to this location.
Yeah, well, this was pulled out of hyperspace.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
So the nav computer never saw this coming.
Okay.
And then we hear a voot voot or read a voot voot.
Voot, voot.
Laser blasts are shot at the Falcon. Domina Tag sends a transmission that this Star Destroyer has been claimed under interplanetary salvage law.
Oh, my goodness.
So the Millennium Falcon fires back, but up against Domina's big ship, well, they don't stand a chance. And 3PO tries to tell them their odds, but is told to shut up.
Han has a plan and ducks under the destroyer, or ducks the ship under
Yeah.
the destroyer. And here, just as the action is getting good, once again, chapter 7.
Well, this is pretty much a continuation
It
of
is.
that scene.
It is,
So
but
why they need to cut it up, I don't know.
I'm not sure.
All right, snatched away from the sun, chapter 7. An escape pod jettisons from the Falcon and lands on the Star Destroyer. On board are Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, R2-D2, and Jackson, who go searching for these jewels. They pass by several dead Imperial officers who have succumbed to the Crimson Forever.
I do have to say this panel, this is very pretty. It's not a splash page quite, but there's a big giant top panel here with the Falcon and the escape pod and the space junk, and it reminds me of the asteroid field a little bit. And I love it. It's very beautiful.
Now they look for a ship within the Star Destroyer to get them off of the Star Destroyer once they find the jewels.
Yeah, because I guess the Falcon is, oh no, they're on the escape pod.
Yes.
And escape pods can't lift off, I guess?
I guess there's a thruster on the
Ship.
the first ship.
Ah,
The primary ship that jettisons them.
okay.
So they must have gotten this tactic from Luthen, from Andor.
Oh,
You know, he's always looking for a way out before he starts anything, before he goes in and
Build your
initiates his plan. He
Right.
builds his exit.
on the way in.
Mhm.
Nice. I love it.
So they do find a TIE fighter as a ship lands in the hangar.
Uh-oh.
Who is this? Dominus forces emerge with guns ablazing. Luke, Leia, and Jackson race to the bridge of the ship where they know these life jewels are located.
Jackson says, nothing quite like running from blaster bolts toward a bunch of rocks that will give us the plague. I love this line. That's so
That is
funny.
a very good line.
I love it.
So as they race across this bridge, a thermal detonator is tossed under the closing blast door.
Close the blast doors. Close the blast doors.
The explosion sends the group hurling in the air.
With a kaboom.
That's so Star Wars.
It's
It's like a pew pew.
kaboom.
Leia starts coughing as Luke notices a rip in her space suit.
Oh no.
Guess what? She has contracted the Crimson Forever.
No.
Oh no. What's gonna happen? Oh, now Jackson, he finds one of the jewels and he sees a dead salvage. Now Jackson, he finds one of the jewels and sees a dead scavenger. Now Jackson sees one of the jewels. Now Jackson, he finds one of the jewels and sees a dead scavenger holding the other one.
Oh,
So 1 + 1 jewel equals 2 jewels.
that will give life.
Now keep that in mind, okay?
Okay.
Let's keep track of these jewels.
Okay.
So he has 2.
All right.
All right.
Well, does it say he picks them up?
Yes, and we'll find out as we go along.
Okay.
Okay. It took me about 3 or 4 times to coordinate where all these jewels were.
Oh man. Yeah.
Now, Domina and her soldiers come through the blast door and hold them at gunpoint. Give me the jewels, you scum! That sounds just like Domina, doesn't
You rebel scum.
it? Luke slashes the Trandoshan's blaster in half as they race away. Jackson quips, I'll give it to the kid. He'll make... And then Jackson quips, I'll give it to the kid. He makes it real hard to see the line between brave and stupid. Jackson then leaps a long distance across a damaged, broken bridge, and Leia then tells him to lay the metal pipe back down so she can cross over it, forming a new bridge. Yeah.
Right.
However, Jackson has other plans. He apologizes and says that the stones will be worth a lot to the wrong people, and your boy Jackson, he's got to eat. he does look very, very remorseful.
Okay, I was getting total vibes of Indiana Jones, Raiders
yeah.
of the Lost Ark with
Throw me the whip.
Tipo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Throw me the idol.
Throw me the idol. Throw me the whip.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's the same thing. There's this chasm, and
Yeah.
only he can help
Mhm.
get him over, and he doesn't.
And I'm sure this was taken from that as inspired. Now,
Yeah.
right here, the bottom panel,
Okay.
he's now holding just one stone.
Yeah. That's why I'm confused. I don't
Yeah.
think he ever picked up
No,
the other
he
stone.
he did.
He
And,
did.
and believe me, I went through this at least 4 or maybe 5 times just to keep track of where these stones were.
Okay.
Now, Luke shows up after holding back Domina's soldiers. All right, then Luke shows up after holding back Domina's soldiers. Leia fills him in on Jackson's betrayal. Luke then uses the Force to lay down the metal pipe that Jackson was supposed to, and they cross the bridge while levitating R2 at the same time.
This is another Indiana Jones Last Crusade moment
Mhm.
where they cross.
Yeah,
only
the-
the penitent man will pass, and yeah.
And
Wow.
then Leia says,
I may never get used to you doing that. But I don't understand. Come on, Leia.
well, just when your adrenaline's all pumping and
I
you
guess.
just forget that. Oh, wait a minute! I got a brother who can levitate stuff and save
Yeah.
the day.
Yeah, we're good.
Luke, Leia, and R2 get to the hangar to see Jackson pulling away in a TIE bomber. Luke says that this won't matter because unless Han can get the Falcon fixed, they'll all be pulled into the sun.
Oh no.
And Leia responds,
I'm more worried about the rabbit right now, Luke. Oh no, she called him the rabbit.
that's saying a lot. She's
Yeah.
more worried than the sun.
Wow.
The sun's pulling everything into its orbit and destroying it, but she's more worried about the rabbit.
Well, a sun going supernova can take like 100 million years. So
Yeah, but right now everything is being pulled. That's how the Falcon was pulled into this deep
vortex.
space.
Yeah. Okay.
Han calls over the comlink to let them know. Han then calls over his comlink to let them know that they're about to have more company.
This is where I got confused. It's like, wait, more company. What's happening? And then we get to chapter 8, the end of the hunt.
So the more companies, first Domina's people showed up.
Okay.
Now they're going to have another visitor.
Oh, so what? Another ship joins them.
Yes.
Okay. So what happens?
So Han advised them to stay away from the starbirds. So then Han advised them to stay away from the starboard docking bay as a ship comes crashing into Jackson's TIE bomber.
Oh no.
So another ship just crashed right into that hangar as Jackson was trying to leave. Serves you right, you rabbit.
Yeah, this is the whole splash page here. Oh yeah, that does. He got his comeuppance.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right. Now we stuck with them.
All right, so guess who this is? It's our buddy Valance.
Balance.
And he gets out of the stolen Republic transport and says, "None of you remember who I am?" Well, maybe give him a chance. You're
Yeah,
like
no
way
kidding.
on top of the ship, a couple of maybe 20, 30 meters away.
That's the equivalent of going to a party and someone says, "Do you remember who I am?"
Yeah,
Don't freaking lead with
if
that.
they're standing, like 50 feet away, they say
Yeah.
that. It's like, you know what? No, I don't. So then Domina's Trandoshan. So then Domina's Trandoshan soldier shouts, That's Valance, the hunter. He's back from the dead. Run.
Oh, stop that. Oh, bad. Oh my God, that was creepy.
Trandoshan sounds like.
I don't like it.
Jackson suddenly appears and holds his blaster to Valance's head.
Whoa, look at this bottom panel here. That looks really cool. Uh-oh. Valance grabs Jackson by the throat. Luke shouts out.
Wait, I remember you. That bounty hunter who couldn't understand compassion for a droid, right? Valance. He then asks to spare Jackson's life. He's awful, but he doesn't deserve to die.
Dude, Jackson just double-crossed them.
Yeah, Luke, let life play out.
Yeah, let actions take their course.
Yeah, you know what? Don't do the crime if you can't do the time or the death penalty. Valance is surprised that Darth Vader never got him, never got Luke.
Yeah.
He was right about Luke and that he'd be a match for Darth Vader one day, and says, I died for you, Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
Not sure why he.
I think it's just like acknowledging that
yeah.
he sacrificed himself for the right person.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
I get it now.
Mhm.
He then tells Luke that he came for the jewels for the chance to make himself human again.
Aw.
Jackson then hands over both jewels to him. So
Okay.
look right there. He's got both jewels.
Yes, I see. Okay.
Now, once again, how does he have both jewels? Since every other panel, he's just shown holding one jewel.
Yeah.
I think this was an editorial mistake.
I think so too, yeah, because it would have been, they need to make it more clear in the pictures what's happening. I found myself getting a little confused towards the end of this comic.
It's almost like the Star Wars annual #2 that we just did a few months ago, but with the shade shine
Yes.
and all those stones. Like, okay, who's got how many stones and where are you putting these?
Yes, exactly. Mhm.
Now, Valance rips off his facial skin
Ew, gross.
with hope that the jewel will restore his flesh. A cosmic force surrounds him as skin begins to grow over his face. It's working. I'm alive.
I'm alive. That's so Frankenstein. Oh. So then Valance falls to the floor in a smoldering heap. Behind him, Domina holds a smoking blaster. Oh no, I was so upset. I'm like, oh, what? This is so cool. Valance helped them, and now he's being helped in return. And all of a sudden, if this is the end of Valance, it'll feel very
Oh,
anticlimactic.
you know what? There's more pages to go.
Okay, okay.
So sit tight. So Domina then grabs both stones and tells Luke that his mind tricks won't work on her. She's been training for this moment for years. She says that she will She then says that she will bring the plague that ends the New Republic.
Starting with you.
She blasts Luke's spacesuit, which will let in the Crimson forever. She then throws one jewel outside the ship into space, where it is now separated forever from its counterpart.
Unless R2 was around, and then he'd go use his little blasting legs and go.
Yeah, Domina, I got this.
Yeah, no kidding.
And R2 was there too.
I know. He could have just done that. All right.
Yeah, so now Luke's suit is now compromised.
Right.
And Leia's as well.
But Domina's going to make short work of Leia. She holds up a large knife to Leia and tells her that there is no hope of a cure since the jewels are now separated. And it looks like she's like going to stab Leia.
Yeah, with his
Ew.
big Michael Myers knife.
Yeah.
The Fred droid informs Valance that Domina's ion rifle shut down his battery and he didn't reform enough muscle to move. Oh, see, he may be down for the count. So Fred then asks if Luke is the man who taught him compassion and that organics and droids can care about each other. Fred comes up with a plan to overload his own power core, and that energy will pump into Valance's battery, and that's going to restart him.
Wow.
He's going to get a jump start.
Yeah.
He says that he will save Valance, and Valance will then save everyone.
So that surge of energy in the bottom right panel here fries Fred, but resurrects Valance.
Oh, look at all of these sacrifices.
Mm-hmm.
Domina raises her large knife and says,
"Goodbye, Leia."
But before she can plunge it into the princess, Valance grabs her arm. Enough, he shouts. He then grabs the other jewel from Domina, who tells him that only one cannot help him. He then throws her off the hangar and into space. Okay, well, I got all the information I needed out of you, so bye.
Okay, so Domina meant that only one jewel cannot help him.
Yes.
Got it.
So you know what? Don't throw me out into space. Whoa! Puny human. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. No kidding.
Luke tells him that he saved him once. Now it's my turn.
Aww.
Luke then calls out to Han and tells him to pick up Valance, who just stepped off into space. Unfortunately, the sun is pulling him in before Han can save him.
Because Han's in the Falcon.
Yes.
Yeah.
However, Valance does manage to retrieve the floating jewel and he brings them together. Not only does this cure Leia from the Crimson Forever and Luke, but it gives Valance his humanity back, and the cyborg finally is able to retain his flesh once again.
Oh. And this last panel, to me, reminds me very much of Superman a little bit. Like, I don't know, flying into space. We just saw some new Superman posters, and it's reminding me of that.
The end. Ooh.
Wow.
All right, that was quite the story.
That was a big issue. Lots of fun Easter eggs and things. And yeah, so should we tell our thoughts about this?
Yes. All right, so give us your afterthoughts after reading the story.
Okay, and you Skywalkers who have watching this live right now, please let us know what you think. So yeah, I feel I think I wrote exactly what you just said was woo. That was quite the issue. I thought at first that it was a little choppy jumping around to different stories, but they started to align toward the end. And like the last 3 stories were pretty much, I don't know why they had different chapters because it was like all one story. Yeah. Now, I liked it, but I felt that the climax was a little overworked. It's like, first of all, you have Jackson, like Jackson coming in and betraying them, and then you get Domina Tag, and then you get like all these bad guys coming in at once, and it just felt like there was almost too much going on, and it was hard to keep track a little bit in that last chapter, like keeping track of the jewels as well, right? But other than that, my favorite part of this issue was that, of course, it brought back your characters, your creatures, it name dropped things and planets, not only from classic Marvel Star Wars comics, but also the EU, like mentioning the Vornskers, witches of Dathomir, riding their
Rancors, not
thank
next
you.
to.
Right, exactly. I mean, bringing back Domina Tag, bringing back some of those alien races that Rex was able to tell us what they were.
The Zeltrons.
Yeah, all that comes up in later Star Wars, classic Marvel Star Wars comics. So I thought it was great. And my favorite part was that they brought back a little 21st century update to their costumes, especially the women. Really could use it.
Yeah, Pliff came hopping in and he was on his iWatch.
Yeah, and
his Apple Watch.
And I don't remember what Domina Tag wore in those previous comics, but I feel like she was in this nice robe, almost Leia-like robe in this one, and it was a much better update. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So overall, I mean, it was very enjoyable, definitely, and just a little confusing toward the end.
Okay,
What about you?
I get you, especially those stones.
Yeah, yeah.
Where are those stones? I thought this was a very fulfilling story, and it was a perfect best of issue to officially end the series. Once again, it brought back all of our favorites: Jackson, Amaza, Pliff, and I really like the team up between Luke, Leia, and Jackson.
Okay.
We need to see more of that.
Yeah, where was Amaza? I guess she was on the ship with Han.
He was on the ship with Han. Yeah.
And they have some backstory there.
Yeah. And R2 was with Luke, Leia, and Jackson, but after the second read through, it's like, oh yeah, there's R2 right there.
Oh.
I didn't really notice him until Luke was levitating him over that broken bridge.
Okay.
Now, Leia was cured within one panel at the very end. And whether or not Luke had the Crimson Forever, I think it was set up that he did have it because Domina Tag damaged his spacesuit.
Right.
But it was never followed up.
Mm-mm.
But we knew that Leia had it for a couple of panels, and suddenly she was cured very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Now, I'm after reading this, it was a good story. I'm glad we did it. I'm glad we did it now because this follows up the last classic Marvel Star Wars comics we did with issue 50. But I'm looking forward to going back to the classic issues of the next classic Marvel Star Wars comics.
Okay, nice. Well, me too, obviously. I mean, we have to get through them all eventually.
Oh, we will. We will.
Yes.
Now, the next couple of pages, now the next page is titled Celebrating Marvel's First Star Wars Comics. And it starts with a letter from Mark Panacea, senior editor at Marvel Comics. And he thanks Lucasfilm for giving them the opportunity to do this comic continuation and the fun in bringing one of his favorite characters, Valance the Hunter, back. And he acknowledges that the current canon has their own version of Valance, as seen in the miniseries Han Solo Imperial Cadet. And he was happy to bring him back in this non-canon universe with Domina Tag and Jackson and Amaza. Non-canon. How often do you hear that word since Star Wars was rebooted? Yeah, you don't hear that except if it's like for Star Wars Visions.
Right.
Or the Lego Star Wars.
Right. So I guess we do hear it. But
this is it's, I guess, being a Marvel story, it has the license to be non-canon.
Right. Now, but this does prove that there can be Star Wars stories out there that don't have to have any connection to the current canon and still be very enjoyable. You know, and as Rex says here in the comments, I think it was a fun ride and we need more of these.
Mhm.
Yeah. And also is asking, what happened to Domina? Is she alive?
We'll-
We don't know.
We'll soon see, I guess.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
so once again, being this was connected to the first wave of Marvel comics, it gives them the license to be non-canon. So I say, give us issue 109.
Let's do it.
Yes.
I think it would be fun.
But you know what? I spoke to a friend over at Lucasfilm and asked them, will there be an issue 109? And he said, no, probably not. And this is not official. He was just
Right.
speaking from what he could gather. And this issue did pretty well at the newsstands, but it wasn't like, hey, we got to get another continuation out there real quickly.
Right. I think, well, it was also for the 80th anniversary of Marvel Comics.
Yeah.
And was it an anniversary of classic Marvel Star Wars comics?
No, it was
No.
just for the 80th anniversary of Marvel.
Okay. So I could see for the 100th anniversary them doing something, perhaps. I don't know.
You know what? I like the way you think.
Yeah.
Now, in the next couple of pages, there's some blurbs by Joe Duffy, who wrote just about every issue from 70 to 107.
Wow.
And I can't wait to get to those issues. And she was pretty much the only person writing new continuous Star Wars stories after Return of the Jedi for about 3 years.
Wow.
Wrap your head around that.
That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Now, writer and Hoojib creator David Michelini also weighs in and says that he really wanted to write a story with Han Solo, so he snuck in a flashback issue, which was the annual #2 Shade Shine, which was like a flashback story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, you had to at that point.
Yeah.
Han was in carbonite.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the third page here includes blurbs from editor Louise Simonson, artists Walt Simonson, Ron Frenz, and Tom Palmer, and they all comment on their favorite issues to work on and what they could and couldn't do within the Star Wars universe. Because Lucas was still saying, hey, can't do this, you can't explore, you can't expand the Star Wars folklore.
There was no fly zones, basically.
Yes. Yeah, you can have your own characters, but you just can't throw in Han Solo's parents, maybe, or a relationship between Luke and Darth Vader.
Right.
So none of that. And let's put all these pages in the show notes.
Yeah, we will, because this episode is getting quite long, so we'll definitely put those pages there. You can peruse them at your leisure.
Well, that wraps up episode 400.
Hold on. Let me change this out.
Right. Yes, Han was with Amaza, and they once had a little something back in the day.
Is this okay?
But yeah, that works. But then Chewie's there, so
yeah,
and 3PO's there too.
Thank you, Rex. Love you all. Glad you could join us. I know you're our official comics books lover.
Yeah.
All right, let me get out of this. Okay.
Well, that wraps up episode 495 of Skywalking Through Neverland. We want to thank all you Skywalkers who join us when we do these live recordings and weigh in the Sky Chat and listen to our shows every week on your podcatcher or watch our videos. And once again, I got to ask you, please, we need 19 more YouTube subscribers by the end of the year. And 9 more followers on Instagram.
Let's do it. All right. And you can also find us on social media. We are at Skywalking Pod most everywhere. Now, do you have things that you want to share? We always have things we want to share. So every Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific on YouTube, we go live and share things we've done in the past week. We invite you Skywalkers to come on and share something that you've done or show off something that you've just added to your collection. Christmas is coming up. Some of the holidays are coming up. You might be getting some fun fandom gifts. So if you want to come on and join us and show off what you've gotten, that's always a fun thing to do.
Yeah. Last week we talked all about Red One.
Yes.
And why is Red One important to the next episode? of Skywalking Through Neverland? Well, we may
Oh,
have someone from Red One on the next episode.
Yeah,
That's all I'm going to say.
that's all.
Now, are you interested in our books? Well, autographed copies of Today in Star Wars History Part 1 and 2 and Skywalking Through My Fandom, the interactive notebook, are available now from skywalkingthrough-neverland.com/book. Is the sale still going on?
It is the final day actually is today.
Oh.
So yeah, so get those orders in. Now, would you like to support Skywalking Through Neverland? You can consider supporting us through the Skywalking Force, which is our Patreon. The Skywalking Force has access to bonus content in the form of our Zoom discussions. We're doing Skeleton Crew Zoom discussions right now. They're actually StreamYard chats. We just call them Zoom discussions because that's what we've been calling them in the past. And yeah, so you can come on if you're part of the Skywalking Force. We have these fun chats and then we put them out for the Skywalking Force so you can listen to them later if you can't make them or if you just want to listen to our thoughts every other week on the show. Skeleton Crew and other ones.
And it's the holiday season, so Skywalking Force, expect a little something.
Yeah, we're
in the
gonna
mail.
send out our holiday cards to the Skywalking Force members and a little special treat.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
And this bonus content starts at what? Only $5 a month? Oh my goodness. Head over there to skywalkingforce.com and have a look at all the options. And thank you to those who are already part of the Skywalking Force. Now, we want to thank our sponsor once again, Small World Vacations, for their support. Thinking of a trip to a Disney park or a Disney cruise? Well, you can fill out a Get a Quote form at smallworldvacations.com today. Their vacation planning service is free of charge. So check them out and tell them Skywalking Through Neverland sent you.
Now we are part of the Skywalking Network, where you can find other great shows like Talking Apes,
The Neverland Clubhouse,
Totally Tell Me Everything,
Star Warsologies,
and the YouTube shows Collectopolis and
Today in Star Wars History. Now, don't forget to stick around for bloopers and other fun bits that didn't make it to the show. And
always remember.
voot voot.
And oh man, what was it? The big explosion. Kaboom!
Kazark.
No, it was kaboom.
And then there was the
Oh man,
cracking of
was
the
loud.
neck.
yes. And
Neverland on Alderaan. Talking to you, KB.
all right, I'm gonna stop this,
Okay,
right?
yep.
We got this. All right, Skyward. Wow, well, thanks for sticking with us. And we
Yeah.
love all your comments.
It's only an hour and a half.
Yeah, I know. It was a big episode, though. It's big.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah.
Oh, that was weird having that in my ear half the time. I didn't
Oh.
sound any louder, did I? Did I
No,
sound
no.
fine?
It sounds
Okay.
fine. Yeah.
Okay, good. All
But I'm
right.
glad you didn't hear any crackle.
I didn't. I hope, and I did hear it that one time, so I know that I do hear it.
Okay.
All right, so that stopped.
All
All
right,
right,
so
guys.
guys, guess what? We gotta go exercise.
Yep, and then edit.
edit.
Yes.
So we're looking for the show on Thursday.
Woohoo!
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.